Have you ever wondered if something as simple as the last digit of your birth year could hold deeper meaning? Something that's been quietly shaping your life all along? In Buddhism, numbers aren't just tools for counting. They are considered living vibrations, carriers of energy, each one with its own unique frequency. These vibrations, monks believe, can influence everything from your personality to the path your soul takes through life. Now here's where it gets interesting. The final digit of your birth year is seen as a kind of spiritual fingerprint. Subtle, but powerful. It's an energetic imprint that stays with you, silently guiding your choices, your challenges, and even your gifts. Think of it this way. In music, each note has a different vibration. Some stir joy, others sadness, others peace. Numbers work the same way. And when you begin to understand the vibration you were born into, you start to understand yourself in a new way. This isn't about fate or superstition, it's about awareness. Imagine having a hidden compass that's been with you since birth, one that can help you navigate relationships, decisions, even your calling, if only you knew how to read it. In this video, we're going to explore each of the digits from 0 to 9 through the lens of Buddhist philosophy. What does each number represent? What kind of energy does it carry? And most importantly, what does your number say about you? As you listen, stay curious. You might be surprised at how accurately one single digit can reflect the deeper patterns in your life. And who knows? This small insight might just help you make your next step more consciously, more aligned, and more you. Let's begin. Now that we understand how the last digit of your birth year acts like a subtle, energetic imprint, let's dive into the deeper meanings behind each number, starting with 0, 1, and 2. These are more than just numbers. In Buddhist thought, each digit holds a frequency that shapes how we show up in the world, our strengths, our struggles, and even the spiritual lessons we're here to learn. So take a moment, think about your birth year. What's the final number? Let's find out what it's been quietly teaching you all this time. Number 0, the sacred space of new beginnings. If you were born in a year ending in 0, your life is marked by the energy of the void, what Buddhists call shunyata, or emptiness. But don't confuse this with nothingness. Emptiness in Buddhist philosophy is full of potential. It's the space where all things begin and end. The blank canvas, the silence before the song, the stillness before the storm. You're someone who often experiences life in cycles. Major shifts, reinventions, times when everything falls apart, only to come together in a completely new way. You may have changed careers, cities, relationships, maybe even your identity, more than once. And while others might fear those kinds of changes, you walk through them like fire and emerge with something new in hand. There's something almost mystical about your ability to create in chaos. When the world feels uncertain, you find clarity. When others freeze, you move. You thrive in transition because deep down you know the truth. Every ending is a beginning. But here's the shadow side. This constant rebirth can leave you feeling like you're always starting over, never really landing, always in the in-between. It can be exhausting. You might question, why do I always have to rebuild? The lesson for you is to trust the space between, to embrace the pause, not just the movement, to know that your life isn't linear, and that's okay. You weren't born to walk a straight line. You were born to spiral upward. Ask yourself, what if I stop chasing completions and start honoring the flow? Your mantra? I begin again with purpose and presence. Number 1, the trailblazer's path. If your birth year ends in 1, you carry the energy of the individual, the pioneer, the one who's not here to follow, but to forge. Number 1 is the number of initiation, action, and confidence. People with this imprint are often seen as leaders, even if they don't try to be. You likely have strong instincts, a clear inner voice, and the courage to walk paths others avoid. You're here to start things, to move the world forward, whether through a business, a cause, or your own creative expression. You may find yourself drawn to roles where your voice matters, where your vision can shape something. You don't just go with the flow. You question the flow, reroute it, or dig a whole new river. But here's where it gets real, that bold independence. It can make it hard to let people in. You may struggle with teamwork, with compromise, or with admitting when you need help. There can be a deep pressure to always have it together, and that can become isolating. The challenge for you is to balance your strength with softness, to remember that great leaders don't walk alone. They lift others with them. You don't have to dim your light, but you can let it warm others, not just lead them. Ask yourself, am I creating alone or co-creating with the people around me? Your mantra, I lead with heart and rise with others. Number 2, the bridge between worlds. If your number is 2, you are the peacemaker, the harmonizer, the one who senses imbalance even before others notice it. You carry the energy of duality and integration. In Buddhist symbolism, this is the dance between yin and yang, light and dark, self and other. People born with this vibration are naturally empathetic, tuned in to the emotions and needs of others. You may be the friend who always knows the right thing to say, or the co-worker who can mediate a room full of tension. You're a listener, a connector, a quiet force for unity. Relationships are sacred to you. You thrive in meaningful partnerships, whether romantic, familial, or professional, and you're often the glue that holds groups together. But here's your lesson. Harmony is beautiful, but not when it costs your voice. Sometimes, in your effort to maintain peace, you may suppress your own desires. You might avoid conflict, even when speaking up is necessary. You may give more than you receive, believing it's your role to keep the balance at all costs. But the truth is, you matter too. Your needs, your truth, your boundaries, they're part of the equation. Your energy becomes most powerful when you learn to say, I hear you, and here's where I stand. Ask yourself, am I listening to others so much that I've stopped listening to myself? Your mantra? I bring balance to others by honoring balance within. So we've uncovered the first 3 energies, the void of 0, the flame of 1, and the bridge of 2, each one powerful, each one purposeful. What's beautiful is how these numbers don't just describe personality traits. They point to the spiritual invitations of your life. Your number isn't here to box you in. It's here to set you free, to help you live more consciously, more aligned, more awake. In the next part of this journey, we'll explore the next wave of energy, from the vibrant creativity of 3 to the grounded structure of 4 and beyond. If you haven't already, pause and reflect. What is your number inviting you to see more clearly today? Let's keep going. Let's keep going on this journey through the energies of the numbers, and now we're stepping into the heart of expression, structure, and freedom. If your birth year ends in 3, 4, or 5, your life may carry a very different rhythm. 1, filled with joy, with order, or with movement. But no matter which number is yours, each one offers a powerful lens into how your spirit interacts with the world. Let's dive in. Number 3, the creative flame. If your number is 3, your life runs on color, rhythm, and self-expression. You are the storyteller, the artist, the spark in the room. People with this vibration often feel a deep need to express what's inside through words, music, movement, or even the way they dress. Your energy is naturally magnetic. You bring joy to others simply by being fully yourself. You might be the kind of person who laughs loudly, speaks with their hands, or always has an idea brewing. You're often the one who brings people together, not through logic, but through energy, through shared creativity and emotion. But creativity, like fire, needs direction. Because here's the challenge. Your energy can be so expansive that it becomes scattered. You start one project, then another. You're inspired by everything, which can make it hard to follow through on anything. Sound familiar? The lesson of the 3 is mindfulness. Channeling that vibrant, joyful energy into completion. Learning to stick with the idea long enough to see it come alive. When your creative fire is focused, it becomes powerful. Not just fun, but fulfilling. Ask yourself, where in my life am I expressing, but not finishing? Your mantra? I bring my joy to life with clarity and commitment. Number 4, the builder's soul. Now, if you were born in a year ending in 4, your energy is rooted in stability. You are the builder, the one who lays foundations, creates structure, and brings order to chaos. In Buddhist symbolism, the number 4 represents the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. It also reflects the 4 directions: north, south, east, and west, suggesting balance and groundedness. And that's you, the anchor, the one others can count on. You likely have a strong sense of responsibility. Maybe you enjoy planning, organizing, or creating routines that work. You may find deep satisfaction in completing tasks, not for attention, but because getting it done just feels right. But every structure, no matter how solid, must allow for movement. And here's the challenge for 4's rigidity. Sometimes your love for structure can turn into resistance to change. You may find yourself clinging to what's familiar, even when life is clearly nudging you to evolve. Flexibility can feel risky, even when it's the very thing you need to grow. The spiritual lesson for you? To trust that change can be safe. That letting go of control doesn't mean losing your footing. It means learning to build on shifting ground. Ask yourself, where am I clinging to what once worked but no longer does? Your mantra? I build with strength and adapt with grace. Nishi. Number 5, the free spirit. Now let's move to the wild heart of the number sequence. Number 5. If this is your number, you are a natural explorer. Your soul seeks movement, freedom, and new experiences. You're likely someone who loves to travel, try new things, meet new people, and reinvent yourself more than once. Your energy thrives in change. You get bored easily, not because you're lazy, but because your spirit is wired for stimulation. You may find routines restrictive, commitments stifling. You crave the rush of the unknown, the sense of aliveness that comes with risk. But here's the shadow side of that freedom: instability. Too much movement can become avoidance. The desire for variety can turn into a pattern of running. From relationships, from responsibility, from yourself. You may have a hard time settling down, not because you can't, but because a part of you fears losing your independence. But freedom doesn't have to mean floating forever. True freedom is having roots strong enough to let you fly. When you find that internal stability, you can move freely without losing your center. Ask yourself, am I running towards something or just running? Your mantra? I explore with curiosity and return to myself with trust. So far, we've seen how creativity, structure, and freedom each offer their own wisdom. And our 3 shows us the beauty of joyful expression and the power of finishing what we start. And Factor 4 grounds us in reliability and order, and while teaching us to stay open to change. 5 invites us to embrace adventure, but reminds us that freedom grows from within. These aren't just personality types. They're soul lessons. Rhythms we're learning to dance with, lifetimes in the making. Up next, we'll continue exploring numbers 6 and 7, where love, service, and deep spiritual searching come into play. If you've ever been the caretaker or the quiet seeker of life's mysteries, the next part is for you. Let's keep going. We've explored numbers that dance with creativity, ground us in structure, and urge us into freedom. Now we move into the final arc, where compassion, inner wisdom, material mastery, and spiritual service shape the soul's path. If your birth year ends in 6, 7, 8, or 9, the lessons you're here to learn and the gifts you bring carry deep emotional and spiritual weight. Let's continue. Number 6, the heart that holds others. If your number is 6, you carry the energy of love in action. You're the caregiver, the protector, the one who shows up not just with words, but with hands that help and a heart that listens. In many ways, you're the emotional foundation for the people around you. You might find yourself naturally drawn to roles of service, not necessarily through a title, but through how you live. You're the one who checks in when no one else does, who stays after to help clean up, who feels the pain of others deeply and moves to ease it without being asked. This is beautiful, sacred energy. You are here to create harmony, to restore balance, to offer healing where it's needed. But here's where the 6 must be careful. You often put others so far ahead of yourself that your own needs get left behind. You may say, I'm fine, even when you're exhausted. You may think, if I don't do it, who will? And over time, this self-sacrifice becomes less of a gift and more of a wound. The truth is, your ability to care for others is directly tied to how well you care for yourself. Your compassion becomes sustainable when it flows from a place of wholeness, not depletion. So ask yourself honestly, when was the last time I poured into me? Your mantra? I nurture others best when I'm fully nourished. Number 7, the inner seeker. If your birth year ends in 7, your path is one of deep contemplation. You are the mystic, the thinker, the one who searches not for surface answers, but for the truths beneath them. Even from a young age, you may have sensed things others didn't. The unseen threads between moments, the quiet presence in a room, the unspoken energy in people's words. You're drawn to philosophy, spirituality, the mysteries of life, and you find beauty in solitude. But this profound inner world can become isolating. When life feels too noisy, too shallow, you may pull away. It's not that you don't care about people. It's that small talk drains you, and the deep stuff takes time. You need space to recharge and reflect. Still, the danger is getting stuck in your mind. You can become so consumed with seeking that you forget to live. Your spiritual journey is real, but it's not separate from your daily life. It includes the bills, the dishes, the ordinary moments, Your challenge is integration, bringing the wisdom of your inner world into the rhythm of your outer life. Not choosing between them, but letting them nourish each other. Ask yourself, what insight am I ready to live? Not just think about. Your mantra, I ground my wisdom in everyday life. Number 8, the manifester of power. Number 8 is the builder of empires. If this is your number, you are wired to achieve, to turn ideas into action, vision into structure, potential into progress. You carry leadership energy, often with a magnetic presence and a sharp mind. You may feel a strong connection to success. Not just financially, but in anything you commit to, whether it's your career, a cause, or a personal project. You tend to go all in. You're strategic, driven, and unafraid of hard work. But here's where the path of the 8 becomes spiritual. Your lesson is to remember why you're building. Because in a world that praises external achievement, it's easy to lose sight of inner purpose. You may find yourself chasing goals because they look important, even if they don't align with your heart. Over time, this disconnect can leave you successful on paper, but spiritually empty. Your power becomes sacred when it's in service to something greater. When your ambition reflects your deepest values, not just your greatest skills, ask yourself, is what I'm building aligned with who I want to become? Your mantra, I create success with soul and intention. And number 9, the soul of service and completion. If your number is 9, you carry the energy of the healer, the visionary, the one who sees beyond personal needs and into the heart of humanity. You may be drawn to global issues, humanitarian causes, or spiritual paths. There's often a sense that your life is part of something much larger, that you're here not just to be, but to give. You feel the suffering of others in your bones. And because of this, you often step into roles of advocacy, mentoring, or silent support. You don't just want to make a difference, you feel called to, but that calling can become heavy. People with this number often carry the burdens of others, sometimes without realizing it. You may say yes when you need to say no. You may sacrifice yourself in the name of service, believing that your pain is the price of your purpose. But here's the truth. You can't save the world by breaking yourself. The most powerful healers are the ones who have learned to heal themselves first. Your spiritual journey is one of balance between giving and receiving, between compassion and boundaries, between idealism and sustainability. Ask yourself, what part of me is asking to be served too? Your mantra, I serve the world by honoring myself. So what have we learned from these final 4 numbers? The 6 teaches us to care deeply and to include ourselves in that care. A 7 invites us inward, but reminds us to bring that wisdom back with us. Yet 8 gives us the drive to create and challenges us to stay connected to purpose. 9 calls us to serve and asks us to do it from a place of wholeness, not depletion. These are not boxes, they are mirrors. Invitations to reflect, to awaken, and to live with more alignment than ever before. Your number is not a limitation, it's a language, one that speaks to your soul's journey. So pause and ask, what is my number showing me about the life I'm here to live? If this series has inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your number. Share your insight, because the more we understand ourselves, the more we understand each other. And that is the beginning of true transformation. So now that you've explored the energy of your number, maybe you've seen parts of yourself reflected back that feel incredibly real. Maybe a few things finally clicked. The truth is, this isn't just about numerology, it's about awareness. The last digit of your birth year is more than a number. It's a mirror. A subtle yet powerful signature that offers insight into your tendencies, your strengths, and the patterns that show up again and again in your life. And once you see the pattern, you have the power to shift it. Think about it. How often have you repeated the same lesson in different ways? A relationship that looks new but feels familiar? A goal that keeps slipping just out of reach? A version of yourself you've almost stepped into, but not quite. Now imagine approaching those moments with clarity, with tools, with a deeper understanding of your own energy. That's what this work is really about. So, how do you take this insight and make it real? It starts with simple, intentional practices. One of the most powerful, meditation. Sitting with your number and what it represents can bring surprising clarity. Not just mentally, but energetically. You might visualize the symbol of your number, reflect on its meaning, or focus on how its energy feels in your body. And then there are mantras, spoken affirmations that align your voice with your vibration. For example, if your number is 4, you might say, I build with strength and adapt with grace. If you're a 5, perhaps, I explore with freedom and return with wisdom. These aren't just nice words. When spoken with intention, they become anchors, helping you stay centered in your truth as you move through a world full of distractions. Here's a simple suggestion. Choose a mantra that resonates with your number. Say it aloud in the morning, or whisper it to yourself during moments of doubt. Use it as a compass when decisions feel unclear. It's not magic, it's presence. The more consistently you connect with your number, the more naturally it becomes a part of how you live, love, and lead. Because knowing your number isn't about boxing yourself in, it's about meeting yourself honestly and choosing to grow with intention. So take a breath, reflect. What is your number inviting you to become? And more importantly, are you ready to live it?